Oh, damn. Welcome to our first episode of Spooktober, aka our Halloween extravaganza. We honestly just love Halloween so much that we're gonna do something extra special leading up to Halloween.
So we're starting our Halloween experience September all the way up to Halloween October. We'll be doing as many spooky activities as we can for you guys.
This is all gonna be leading up to our final video of Spooktober, where we revisit the place that we had our craziest paranormal experience ever, the cemetery.
So you mean we're revisiting the Shadow Man?
Yep, but before we get to that, we are going to be talking about the scariest things that have ever happened to us.
Let's get to it. Cue the intro. Today, we're going to be talking about some scary experiences, not just paranormal stuff, not just ghosts and demons in your closet.
Honestly, I think we need to kind of explain what's going on here. So, if you guys don't know who I am Ichigo from I need to take this fucking thing off. I cannot talk with this thing on. Obviously, just one piece of the puzzle.
And I am dressed up as a witch.
So realistically, I think everyone has a scary story. It's just something that's kind of inevitable.
There's stories like car accidents, scary close calls, near deaths maybe.
Yeah, and what's scary to one person may not be scary to somebody else. It's all subjective. The ones that we're gonna tell you today are ones that we consider to be very scary and very frightening to us. Starting it off is an experience I had actually not that long ago. This may have happened 4 to 5 months ago. I don't know how many people watching this video can say they've almost been mugged. When you experience something like that, it is not a pleasant experience whatsoever. I was coming home from practice and I happened to stop at a gas station. This gas station was completely empty because it was really late at night. I pulled up, I started putting gas in my car, when out of nowhere this girl in a car pulls up right behind mine, conveniently blocking my way out backwards. And she pulls her window down, she starts yelling at me. She starts saying, "Please let me use your phone. I need to use your phone. It's an emergency." I'm pretty sketched out at this point. I'm not in a particularly good part of town. I'm all alone and this person is asking to use my phone. As I was looking around, I told her, "Look, people have tried to steal my things before. I'm not gonna hand you my phone, but what I can do is I can call whoever it is you need and I can talk to them, convey the message." And she insisted, "No, I need to make the phone call. Just hand me your phone, let me use it." Now I'm trying to work with this woman, offering up all these solutions. I could put you on speaker, I can hold the phone out to you, and she just keeps insisting. Now as I'm talking to this girl, I notice that a truck pulls into the gas station. He basically blocks one of the entrances of the gas station. I see that this guy is looking at us. Finally, I look at this lady, I'm like, "Look, I'm not handing you the phone." And as I'm telling her this, I notice that the guy opens his car door and he starts stepping out. His eyes are still locked on us. And I'm like, God damn, I'm in a bad situation here. It's almost like he's gonna start coming over to us. But luckily, where this guy had parked his truck, a car turned its signal that it was gonna come into the gas station. And he starts honking at him. And the guy is like, "Ah, shit, what do I do?" He gets back in his car, reverses so the car can come inside. I see that as my opportunity. So as this woman is still talking to me, she's not getting the point. I get into my car and I start driving forward to where I can get out. This lady, as soon as I got into my car and turned it on, she fucking sped off. I'm driving down the road, I get on the freeway, I'm going home, and in the back of my head, I'm like, all of those signs were leading to nothing good. It almost felt like they were trying to trap me in, and maybe this guy was gonna come up behind me and do who knows what to me. And come to find out, after I had this experience happen to me, I actually heard of similar things happening to other people in that area. I would have never thought that I would have been at the receiving end of something like that. I'm just thankful that nothing did happen and that I was able to drive away, but the fact that these people may be doing it to others is crazy.
Imagine if you gave her your phone. Once you give her your phone, you don't have anyone to call. Who knows what could have happened? That's scary.
Yeah, I don't ever want to be put in a situation like that again. But that is my first story. As you can see, I would say that's pretty scary, but what's one of yours?
This is from when I was was in elementary school, 5th grade. With my family, we had our grandma. I call her Nana. We had our Nana staying with us. She lived with us for like about 6 months. My mom would take care of her. She passed away and her room was still in our house, but it was empty, you know. While she was still alive, she had a very distinct step in the house, and by that I mean she would always wear slippers, and you would hear the slippers, you know, skipping across the floor, kind of like a slow walk, because she's like an older lady, she can't walk too fast. When you hear that in the house, you know, oh, like that's Nana walking. So after she passed, no more Nana walking around the house. But there was this one night, I was in my room sleeping. I swear I hear the slippers. It could have been anyone else in my house walking with slippers. As a kid, you're scared very easily. I swear I heard my Nana walking around at night, and it just sounded like her. And I never asked my parents like, oh, like, did you hear that at night? Because as a kid, when something scary happens to you, you just kind of block it out. You're too young to process it until later down the line.
So you never like got up to check who it was? You were just like, oh shit.
No, even as a kid, I was scared to go to the bathroom at night by myself, you know?
I know you said you were scared, but did you ever feel maybe a sense of comfort? Oh, I'm hearing my Nana again. Or was it just straight terrifying? Like you didn't even think about that?
It was just straight terrifying because I knew my Nana was gone. That shouldn't be happening.
That's
you
just
know?
scary. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess everyone has two mindsets. With me, it's kind of, oh, you got to hear your Nana one last time. For you, it's, oh my God, I heard my Nana again.
Yes, exactly. I still love you, Nana, but I was just kind of scared. So that's my first story. What's your next one?
We actually have a previous episode where we talked about horror stories from Mexico. Now, if I had remembered this story, I would have put this story in that video. Obviously, this story takes place in Mexico. It was one of the few times that I've gone with my family to visit other family that I have there. At the time, I must have been 8, 9 years old. I was pretty freaking young. The part of Mexico that I visit is pretty remote, but it is a village and they do have like a market area. It's an open area, it's not enclosed. You just have shops here, over there, almost like a plaza. So one day, my mom is like, come on, mijo, we're gonna go to the plaza, we're gonna do some shopping. Me being a kid, I didn't really have a choice. We go to the market. My mom is really busy just looking around, and I remember it clear as day that this market was super packed. There was just people everywhere. Because my mom was so busy, I was kind of wandering off by myself, looking at stuff here and there. And my mom was kind of just assuming that I was following her. At a certain point, my mom started walking when out of nowhere, this guy grabs my hand and pulls me towards him. My mom is still walking. She hasn't noticed that the guy grabbed me. I turn around. It's a guy maybe in his mid 40s, maybe early 50s, and another guy. And they're just standing there staring at me. And the guy, he is squeezing the hell out of my hand. I don't know how it could be a friendly grab, but it wasn't friendly. It felt very intentional and malicious. I look over to my mom. She still hasn't noticed, and I'm starting to lose her. The guy pulls me in. We're face to face at this point, and he goes, I'm gonna steal this kid. The other guy, he just chuckles and laughs. The guy starts pulling me closer. In the back of my head, I'm like, dude, I am in a bad situation here. I need to get the hell away from this guy, run and go to my mom, or anyone, honestly. He's squeezing the hell out of my wrist, and I'm pulling. Doesn't want to let go. I kind of pushed inward, and I twisted my wrist, and like I managed to get my arm out. The guy almost kind of lunges towards me, but he notices there's people around. He doesn't want to make it too obvious. As soon as I saw that, I turned around. I started running through the crowd. I miraculously see her standing at a stand. She still hasn't noticed I'm gone. And I run over to her and I grab her hand. I don't even say anything. I don't want my mom to even go talk to these guys because I don't know what they're capable of. The whole rest of the time while me and my mom were at the market, I was just so paranoid that they were gonna come out, possibly attack me and my mom. On the walk home, talk about being paranoid. It's just a story that stands out with me because if this guy really meant what he said, who knows where I'd be right now. That is one that I really actually don't like to think about. That is a reality for a lot of kids.
That's genuinely terrifying. That's one of my worst fears, is getting kidnapped. My mom's instilled this fear in me. Always watch for your surroundings, never walk somewhere by yourself. Even as a kid and even as like a woman. And it's just, you see like the missing poster signs, kids who have been missing for years. Kids are such like a susceptible population. That actually leads me into my story. About in middle school, me and my best friend, we would play play at this one park in her neighborhood. We would just walk to it. Another normal day, we're playing and whatever on the swings. And me, with that fear my mom instilled, I'm like always just looking out here and there to make sure there's not any cars I'm seeing too often, or cars that just, you know, just suspicious cars. So we're on the swing and I see this truck go by. It goes by once, whatever. And then I notice it again. This park, imagine like a square in the middle of a bunch of neighborhoods, and there's like a road all around it. So I see this truck pass by, it goes into the neighborhood, but then I see it come by again and kind of circle around the park, and they stop on the side of the road and they kind of just sit there. Me and my friend were just swinging whatever, and it's just still there. I told my friend, call your dad to come pick us up. And she's like, why? Like, let's just walk there. I insisted. I said again, call your dad to come pick us up. I don't feel safe walking by. And I pointed it out to her. She's like, oh, I didn't even notice. And she said maybe they're just waiting for someone. Part of me wanted to believe that, but I just got a really bad gut feeling. She called her dad to come pick us up. Nothing happened. It was just a very suspicious scenario. But it's things like that that make me glad that my mom taught me to be like always aware of my surroundings and stuff.
So with that, it leads me into my last story, which honestly, I never thought was that scary. Not till recently have I been like, God damn, that could have ended very badly. So at the time, I was about 13 to 14 years old. I was still in junior high school. There was this liquor store at the end of my street that I would always walk to go get snacks. But there was these kids I always tried to stay away from. And every time I crossed paths with these guys, they had something to say. Every single time, I would talk back. Yeah, back in the day, I used to be a little badass because I had to be. Otherwise, these kinds of people would always walk all over me. But like I was saying, that shit was on site. It's just me versus 10 of these guys. I know this is a sensitive subject, but these kids were apparently using a lot of illegal substances, and not just the intro stuff, harder stuff. There came this one faithful night that honestly this whole spiel is leading up to. My sister was sick and my mom was like, yo, go to the store, go get your sister all this stuff, come back, give it to her. At the time, it was around 8 p.m. The sun was down. So I'm walking to the store. The closer I get, I hear them around the corner in an alley. And luckily, the first time I cross, going to the store, they don't see me. It was on my way back where these kids spotted me. And all I hear is, hey! And I'm like, ah, hell. These kids are walking towards me. I'm like, damn, I gotta stand my ground. So I stop, I turn around, I'm like, what? What are you guys gonna do? Up until this point, nothing in the past has really happened physically. Like, we've never fought. All we've ever done is just talk. And the one kid that I could not stand the most out of all of these guys, because he was the one always insinuating shit, comes up to me and he starts saying all this stuff to me. And I could tell something was off with him. He must have done something because he's not acting cohesive. So me and this kid are going back and forth. It's getting to a boiling point. Finally, I'm like, dude, if you're gonna do something, just do it. Because I promise you, I will whoop your ass. This kid, he looks at me, he reaches behind, pulls it out, he has a gun.
A gun?
Yes, a gun. And all the kids just immediately stop. At first, I'm like, there's no way this is a real gun. This is a fucking BB gun. There's no way he has a real one. And this is when I know shit is actually getting real, because all the other kids are like, yo, no, put that away. Like, you don't need that. And as soon as they start saying that, as soon as I see all of these kids are genuinely scared at this point, I'm like, oh shit, this is a real gun. The kid goes, what? You want to keep saying stuff? And I look at him and I say, dude, you guys came up to me. I didn't start this. This kid is just waving this gun around in the air. Finally, he points it at me and he goes, you want to fucking die tonight? Tonight can be the night you don't go home. And I don't know why I said this, but like I said, I was a little badass back then. I go, shoot me then. Go to jail. I dare you. Looking back on that now, that was really stupid. That was probably the stupidest thing I ever said, because I know this kid is on something. I know this kid is not fully there, but I told him that. He looks at me with the gun in my face and he's just biting his lip. He's just debating what he's about to do. And my heart is pounding in the back of my head. I'm just like, I literally came to the liquor store just to get my sick sister the things she needed, and now I'm putting up with this shit. And then he finally puts the gun down and he goes, you're not worth it. Puts the gun back in his back pocket. I don't know why, but I was like, yeah, that's what I fucking thought. And I start walking away. But dude, my heart is beating and these kids are still talking shit. David, just stop. Walk home. That's enough. And I start walking back. I get inside. I kind of throw the shit on the counter. Go to my room. I slam that door. I was in shock. You know, time goes by. Over the years, I just eventually stopped seeing them. And I heard a lot of rumors about what happened to those kids, and none of them are good. In the end, I'm glad I'm still here. Looking back, that was a moment where my life could have ended and I wouldn't have experienced all of the things I've experienced since then.
In that kind of situation, like whether it's flight or fight, you chose fight, which was even crazier because that's a whole ass gun, bro.
I could tell you now, if that happened to me today, I would not choose fight. So that was my crazy final story. What is your final story?
So this is a story about an ex-boyfriend. Relationship ended, and it's one of those relationships where when you get out of it, you realize all of the red flags that were actually there. I kind of realized, yo, this guy was bad news. Whenever I explained the situation to my friends, they're like, you dodged a bullet. After we broke up, I started seeing him everywhere. This wasn't the type of relationship where we went to the same school or we worked at the same place or we didn't even have the same hobbies in a sense. I was actually at one of my dance competitions. It was in a small little gym and there's a hallway outside. And you know, if you're gonna come to watch a dance competition, you're gonna be inside the gym with everyone. I go outside to take a breather, and when I step outside, I see him, and I wouldn't have thought it was weird if he said hi or something. He looked at me and walked the other way. I know this could have just been a coincidence, but he was standing outside as if he was watching from the window. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird, that's kind of creepy. I didn't really pay much attention to it until I started seeing him around more often. And then that's not necessarily where it ended. He kept popping up like in my messages. He would say Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday. Basically, he kind of stalked me for a bit. There's this point closer to the breakup where I took off my location. If you have an Apple iPhone, you guys can share locations with each other. And he got very, very upset. This was even when we ended too. He was like, why are you taking off your location? It's not that serious. I want to know what you're doing. That is what really got me. It just felt like he just really wanted to keep tabs on me. Who knows? Maybe I'm just being self-centered. It genuinely felt like he was stalking me. Another reason why it felt so dangerous, a part of me always felt like he had potential to hurt me. He was very obsessive. He was the kind of guy to punch walls when he would get upset. After we broke up, seeing him everywhere, it's kind of like, I just didn't know what he was gonna do. It's just one of those situations where your gut feeling is telling you, I don't feel safe. Whenever I would work, after work, it got to the point where I would look around me to see if he was there, see if his car was there, if I saw it in the lot.
It's funny because you weren't the only one that experienced that. I kind of experienced that too. I kept seeing him everywhere where I went. There was other friends of yours who kept saying that, yo, I'm seeing this guy a lot. All of your friends are seeing him now too?
That's what made it more weird. Is he like keeping tabs on my friends and chances of seeing me with them? There was a certain practice spot I would go to. When we broke up, he would go to the practice spot on random days. My friends would tell me, your ex was at the practice spot.
It definitely felt like he was going out of his way to be where he knew you would be. Yeah, that is a super crazy story because it's not like it lasted a month. That lasted for a while, right?
Who knows what would have happened if I just ignored the signs.
Man, talk about re-experiencing some shit. Like I've said, I think everyone has a scary story. These were some of ours. At the end of the day, they are scary to think about, but I also think that these are the kinds of things, these are the kind of experiences that really show you a lot. Either how to act in situations.
From my experience, I've just learned to always trust my gut. If something feels off, it's off. Better to be safe than sorry.
Exactly. I think this is a good point to bring this first episode of Spooktober, aka Spooky Nights' Halloween extravaganza.
And of course, if you guys have your own scary stories, we want to hear them. Comment them down below.
Oh damn, we completely forgot. We're also on Spotify. If you want to check out this episode on Spotify, if you're more of just an audio listener, go check that shit out. We'll be in the link in the description.
Also, we forgot to shout out to this one special person. Shout out to Elisa. I know you watch us. We appreciate you.
We appreciate your help with our thumbnails occasionally. It saves me a lot of stress. Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Spooky Nights podcast. I've been your host,
Rye Malik.
I've been your other host, Lysette.
We hope you have a very blessed night, and please guys, stay spooky.
Peace out.